Today, we're diving into one of the most pivotal aspects of leadership, understanding different leadership styles and how they impact decision-making. Let's kick things off by talking about what leadership really means. Leadership isn't just about giving orders or being in charge. It's more about guiding a team towards achieving common goals. Now, let's look at some popular leadership styles. We have the autocratic style where decisions are made independently without team input. Then there's the democratic style, which involves everyone in decision-making processes. Transformational leaders inspire and motivate their teams to achieve greater things beyond just completing tasks. Each of these styles has its pros and cons. Autocratic leaders can make quick decisions, but might stifle creativity and morale among team members. Democratic leaders tend to boost teamwork and satisfaction, but could lead to slower decision-making due to the need for consensus. Transformational leadership is all about inspiring change, encouraging innovation, and engaging team members deeply in the vision of success. This style can foster a highly motivated workforce, but requires strong communication skills from the leader. So how do these styles impact decisions? Well, autocratic leaders often make high-ticket decisions quickly based on their expertise or judgment. Democratic leaders rely more on group discussions to ensure everyone's opinions are heard and considered before making a decision. Transformational leaders focus on aligning team goals with overall organizational objectives. They may delegate some decision-making authority to team members, which can lead to more diverse perspectives being integrated into the final decisions. Understanding these styles helps us appreciate why certain leadership approaches work in specific situations. For instance, an autocratic style might be effective during a crisis when quick action is needed, whereas transformational leadership could thrive in an environment that values innovation and creativity. In conclusion, knowing about these leadership styles gives us insight into how leaders make decisions differently based on their approach. Whether it's making fast calls or seeking team input, the choice depends on the context and the desired outcomes. All right, everyone, let's dive into today's topic, the importance of effective decision-making in leadership roles. Now, you know those high-ticket decisions that can really make or break your team's success. Well, they're not just about choosing the right options, it's also about how decisively and efficiently you handle them. So, why does this matter so much? Effective decision-making is crucial because it directly impacts your team's productivity and morale. When leaders are quick to make well-thought-out choices, it sets a confident tone for everyone else on the team. They know what direction they're heading in, which reduces uncertainty and helps keep everybody motivated. Moreover, good decisions can lead to better outcomes, saving time and resources. Imagine having to redo work because you made a hasty choice without considering all angles. It's not only frustrating, but also costly. On the flip side, when leaders take their time to gather information from different sources and consult with team members, they make more informed choices that stand a higher chance of success. Now, let's talk about how decision-making ties into leadership styles. A leader who makes decisions based on facts and data inspires trust among their team members. They're seen as reliable and competent qualities that are highly valued in any work environment. Plus, involving your team in the decision-making process can boost engagement and commitment to those decisions. However, it's not just about making good choices, it's also about handling mistakes gracefully. When a leader acknowledges errors openly and learns from them, they set an example of resilience and continuous improvement for their team. This is key because no one makes perfect decisions all the time, but how you handle those missteps can really define your leadership. So, to sum up, effective decision-making is essential in leadership roles as it enhances productivity, boosts morale, and fosters trust within teams. By involving others in the process and being willing to learn from mistakes, leaders create a supportive environment that encourages growth and success for everyone involved. Today, we're diving into something really useful: SWOT analysis, strengths, weaknesses, opportunities, threats. It's like taking your business out for a spin around town to see what it does well and where it needs improvement. Think of it as a checkup for your company. First up is strengths. These are the things that make you stand out from the crowd. Maybe you have high-quality products or an awesome customer service team. Your strengths are what give you a competitive edge in the market. Next, weaknesses. We all have them, and being honest about yours helps you improve. Weaknesses could be anything from low production capacity to poor technology infrastructure. Identifying these isn't about beating yourself up. It's about knowing where you need to focus your energy to get better. Then we move on to opportunities, the areas where growth is possible. Maybe there's a new market opening up, or perhaps a trend that aligns perfectly with what you do. Opportunities are exciting because they offer a chance for expansion and innovation. Lastly, threats. These are the external factors that could harm your business. It might be tough competition, changes in regulations, or economic downturns. By identifying these early on, you can start planning how to mitigate their impact. So remember, when conducting a SWOT analysis, it's important to look at both internal and external factors. Internal elements are strengths and weaknesses, things within your control. Opportunities and threats are the external stuff that comes from outside your company. This analysis helps guide decision-making by highlighting areas for improvement and identifying potential risks and rewards. It's not just a one-time thing. SWOT should be revisited regularly to reflect any changes in your business environment or internal capabilities. In conclusion, SWOT analysis is an essential tool for understanding where you stand in the market and making strategic decisions that will help your business thrive. Today, we're diving into something super important for understanding business environments: PESTEL analysis. So let's get right into it. First up, political factors. These are all about government policies and regulations that impact businesses. For example, changes in tax laws or trade agreements can have a big effect on how companies operate and their profitability. It's crucial to stay updated on these because they can shift quickly. Next is economic factors. This includes things like the state of the economy, inflation rates, interest rates, exchange rates, and so on. These elements directly affect consumer spending power and business investments. For instance, during a recession, consumers might cut back on high-ticket items or luxury purchases. Social factors come next. These are all about demographics and social trends that influence how businesses market their products or services. Think age distribution, lifestyle changes, cultural values, or even the growing importance of health and wellness in society. Businesses need to adapt quickly to these trends to stay relevant. Technological factors are pretty straightforward, but incredibly important too. We're talking about innovations like new software, automation tools, or digital platforms that change how companies do business. This can lead to increased efficiency or entirely new opportunities for growth. Environmental factors encompass issues like climate change, pollution control measures, and sustainability trends. Companies have to consider these because they not only impact the planet, but also affect consumer preferences and regulatory compliance. For example, many consumers now prefer eco-friendly products. Finally, legal factors involve laws, regulations, and compliance requirements that businesses must adhere to. This includes everything from labor laws to intellectual property rights or data protection rules. Non-compliance can lead to hefty fines or damage a company's reputation. So there you have it: political, economic, social, technological, environmental, and legal factors make up the PESTEL analysis. It's like looking at all these different lenses to see how they impact your business environment. By understanding each of these components, businesses can better anticipate changes and plan accordingly for success. That's our lesson on PESTEL analysis. Today, we're diving into an important topic called root cause analysis. It's all about digging deep to uncover those core issues that are holding you back from achieving your goals. Let's start by understanding what exactly root cause analysis is and why it's so valuable. root cause analysis is a method used for identifying the underlying reason behind a problem or issue. By focusing on these core causes, you can address them directly rather than just treating symptoms. It's like peeling back layers of an onion until you get to the heart of the matter. There are several techniques used in root cause analysis, such as the Fishbone diagram and the 5 whys technique. The idea is to ask why something happened repeatedly until you reach a point where changing that factor would prevent the problem from recurring. For example, let's say your team isn't meeting deadlines consistently. At first glance, you might think it's due to poor time management or lack of resources. But by digging deeper with root cause analysis, you might discover an underlying issue like insufficient training or unclear project goals. Once you identify these core issues, the next step is developing solutions. This could involve process improvements, additional training, better tools, or changes in leadership styles. The key here is to focus on sustainable fixes rather than quick band-aid solutions. Now, let's talk about how root cause analysis can be applied beyond just problem solving. It's also incredibly useful for continuous improvement and innovation. By understanding the root causes of successes as well as failures, you can replicate winning strategies and avoid repeating mistakes. To effectively use root cause analysis in your work or personal life, start by defining the problem clearly. Then gather data to understand all the factors involved. From there, apply one of the techniques I mentioned earlier to identify those core issues. Finally, brainstorm solutions collaboratively with your team and implement them systematically. In conclusion, root cause analysis is a powerful tool for identifying and addressing the true reasons behind problems or inefficiencies. By focusing on these underlying causes rather than surface-level symptoms, you can achieve lasting improvements in productivity and effectiveness. Today, we're diving into an incredibly useful tool for problem solving: the Fishbone diagram, also known as Ishikawa's diagram. This visual method is a fantastic way to explore all possible causes of a specific issue or defect in a product or process. So let's imagine you're running a high-ticket item store and suddenly sales are dropping off. You want to know why this might be happening. To start, we'll identify the main problem: declining sales. This becomes our head on the Fishbone diagram. Now, think about all the different areas or factors that could contribute to lower sales. These will form the ribs of your fish skeleton. The 5 major categories are typically materials, methods, machines, people, and environment, often remembered by the acronym 5M. Let's break it down. Materials. Are the items you're selling still appealing? Have there been any quality issues? Methods. How about your sales process or promotions? Could they be improved? Machines. Is your store or website functioning smoothly? Any technical glitches? People. Are your staff trained well enough to sell effectively? Customer service an issue? Environment. Market conditions, location, anything external affecting sales. For each category, brainstorm possible causes and write them as branches coming off the main ribs. So under materials, you might list things like outdated products, high prices, or limited product range. Once all potential causes are identified, assess which ones seem most likely to be causing your problem. These could then be addressed first. The beauty of a Fishbone diagram is that it helps you see the big picture and not miss any important factors. It's great for team collaboration too. Everyone can contribute ideas and together narrow down possible solutions. So next time you're facing a tricky business challenge, try out this handy tool to pinpoint the root cause. It could save you hours of frustration trying to figure things out on your own. That wraps up our session on Fishbone diagrams. Give it a go and see how it can help improve problem solving in your work or personal projects. Let's dive into today's lesson about problem solving and decision making using the rational model. Imagine you're faced with a high-stakes situation at work that requires some serious thinking and planning. This is where the rational model comes in handy. The first step of this model is identifying the problem clearly. It sounds simple, but it's crucial to understand what exactly needs solving before moving forward. Think about gathering all relevant information, talking to team members, reviewing reports, or analyzing data can help you pinpoint the issue accurately. Next up, we define our objectives. What do we want to achieve by resolving this problem? Setting clear and measurable goals helps guide your decision-making process effectively. For instance, if it's a sales target, specify what that target is and how you plan on reaching it. Then comes generating alternatives. Brainstorming various solutions can be fun but also challenging. It involves creativity and sometimes thinking outside the box. Once you've got a list of potential solutions, evaluate them based on feasibility, cost-effectiveness, and alignment with your objectives. After that, choose the best alternative. This step requires weighing pros and cons carefully and selecting an option that maximizes benefits while minimizing risks. Remember to consider long-term impacts as well as immediate results. Now it's time for implementation. Develop a detailed plan outlining steps needed to execute your chosen solution. Assign tasks, set timelines, allocate resources, and communicate clearly with all involved parties so everyone is on the same page. Lastly, review outcomes. This final step involves assessing whether your solution worked as intended or if adjustments are necessary. Gather feedback from stakeholders and measure success against initial objectives. Reflecting on what went well and what didn't will help improve future decision-making processes. So there you have it, a structured approach to tackling problems rationally. By following these steps, you can make informed decisions that lead to successful outcomes in any situation. Today, we're diving into something really interesting: the incremental model, building on existing policies and practices. Now, this model is all about making gradual changes over time instead of trying to overhaul everything at once. It's like adding layers to a cake rather than baking one big slab. So why do we use the incremental approach? Well, it allows us to test out new ideas slowly and see how they work in real-world settings before committing fully. This way, we can tweak and adjust as needed without causing major disruptions or setbacks. It's all about making steady progress while minimizing risk. Let's take a look at an example. Say a city wants to improve its public transportation system. They might start by upgrading existing buses instead of building entirely new ones right away. Then they could gradually introduce more routes, perhaps adding bike lanes alongside the roads or improving accessibility features over time. Each step builds on what came before and improves overall efficiency. The key here is that every incremental change should directly support a larger goal. It's not just about doing something, it's about knowing why you're doing it and how it fits into the bigger picture. This way, each small improvement adds up to significant progress over time. Now, let's talk about some of the challenges with this model. Incremental changes can sometimes feel slow compared to radical shifts. It might take longer to see big results this way. Another issue is that stakeholders may not always agree on what constitutes an incremental step or how quickly things should move forward. Despite these potential drawbacks, many organizations find that the benefits outweigh the costs. By building gradually, you get buy-in from more people because everyone can see progress happening and feel involved in its creation. It's easier to maintain momentum when changes aren't so massive they seem daunting. In conclusion, the incremental model is all about making smart, calculated moves towards a larger goal. It takes patience, but offers stability and gradual improvement that can lead to significant long-term success. Today, we're diving into an exciting topic that's going to help you think outside the box and come up with innovative solutions: lateral thinking techniques. Now, before we dive in head first, let me explain what lateral thinking is all about. Lateral thinking is when you take a different perspective or approach to solve problems rather than sticking strictly to conventional methods. So why should you care? Well, because it can lead to breakthrough ideas that might not be possible using traditional approaches alone. It's all about shaking things up and exploring alternative paths. Let's start with two key lateral thinking techniques, the what-if game and mind mapping. The what-if game is simple but powerful. You take a situation or problem and ask yourself, what if? For example, what if you could instantly understand any language? Or what if gravity suddenly decreased by 20 on Earth? This exercise helps unlock creativity because it encourages you to think beyond the immediate constraints of reality. Next up is mind mapping. It's a visual tool that allows you to brainstorm and connect ideas in an organic way, rather than linearly. Start with your main idea or problem at the center, then branch out with related thoughts, no matter how wild they seem. This technique helps visualize connections that might not be obvious otherwise. Another great lateral thinking method is reversing assumptions. Take a common belief about something and turn it on its head. For example, instead of assuming that bigger companies are always better than smaller ones, ask yourself why the opposite might be true. This can lead to surprising insights and unconventional solutions. Finally, let's talk about provocation, deliberately introducing an outrageous or seemingly irrelevant idea into your thought process. It could be something like imagining what happens if water suddenly becomes as heavy as iron overnight. The goal here is not to necessarily solve the problem, but to stimulate different ways of thinking about it. So there, you have it, a few key techniques for lateral thinking that can help you generate innovative solutions and think differently about problems. Remember, the point isn't just to come up with ideas, but to challenge your assumptions and explore alternative perspectives in order to find unique and creative answers. Today, we're diving into a super exciting part of any creative process, brainstorming. So you know that feeling when you're staring at a blank page and you feel stuck? Well, today we'll help you overcome that by learning some fantastic techniques to generate multiple ideas quickly and easily. Let's start with the classic method, free writing. This is where you just let your thoughts flow onto paper without worrying about grammar or spelling. The goal here is speed and volume. Jot down everything that comes to mind, even if it seems silly at first. After all, some of the best ideas come from places we wouldn't expect. Another fun method is mind mapping. Picture yourself in the center of a web of interconnected thoughts. Start with your main idea in the middle, then branch out with related concepts and sub-ideas around it. This visual approach helps you see how different elements connect and can spark new insights. Next up is the round-robin technique, where everyone takes turns adding an idea to the mix. It's like passing a baton in relay races, but for ideas. Each person adds their thought, then passes it on to the next team member until you've exhausted all possibilities. Pairing up for brainstorming can also work wonders. Two heads are better than one, right? By collaborating with another person, you can build upon each other's thoughts and generate more ideas together. It's like having a built-in sounding board. Sometimes it helps to change the scenery too. Go outside, visit a coffee shop, or even rearrange your workspace. New environments can provide fresh perspectives that lead to new insights. Lastly, don't forget about the power of sleep. When you're feeling stuck, take a break and let your subconscious work its magic overnight. Often we wake up with clearer heads and new ideas. So there you have it, 5 fantastic ways to generate multiple ideas during brainstorming sessions. Remember, the key is to stay open-minded and playful while exploring all possible angles. Today, we're diving into one of the most crucial tools for making smart financial decisions, cost-benefit analysis. This technique allows us to weigh the pros and cons financially by comparing costs against potential benefits. Let's start with the basics. When you're considering an investment or a project, whether it's something big like purchasing real estate or something more personal like getting a new car, it's essential to look at both sides of the equation. First off, we need to identify all the costs involved. This includes not only the upfront expenses, but also any ongoing costs such as maintenance, insurance, and taxes. For example, if you're buying a high-ticket item, make sure to factor in everything that comes with owning it. Then, list out all the potential benefits or income generated by this investment. These could be financial gains like increased revenue from selling products or services, or non-monetary advantages such as personal satisfaction or improved quality of life. Next up, we assign a value to each cost and benefit. This can sometimes get tricky because not everything has a direct monetary value. For instance, the joy you feel from owning your dream car might be hard to quantify in dollars, but it's still worth considering when making your decision. Once you've valued both costs and benefits, compare them side by side. Now comes the nitty-gritty part, the actual analysis. Subtract all the costs from the total value of the benefits to see if there is a net positive outcome. If the result is positive, it means that the investment or project will likely bring more benefits than costs. However, if it's negative, you might want to reconsider your decision or look for ways to reduce costs and increase benefits. It's also important to consider any uncertainties and risks involved in this analysis. For example, what happens if market conditions change, or if there are unexpected expenses? These factors can significantly impact the overall outcome of your cost-benefit analysis. Lastly, don't forget about intangible factors like personal satisfaction or reputation when making your decision. Sometimes these elements play a crucial role and shouldn't be overlooked in favor of just financial metrics. In conclusion, mastering cost-benefit analysis is key to making well-informed decisions that align with both financial goals and personal aspirations. Remember to thoroughly examine all costs and benefits, assign appropriate values, consider risks, and look beyond just the numbers when evaluating your options. Let's dive into risk assessment tools for identifying potential risks in any project we undertake. Picture this: you're about to launch a new product that could change your business trajectory. But before you do, it's crucial to understand what might go wrong and how you can mitigate those issues early on. Now, let's talk about some key risk assessment tools we use today. First up is the SWOT analysis that stands for strengths, weaknesses, opportunities, and threats. This tool helps us identify internal factors like strengths and weaknesses within our team or business processes, alongside external opportunities and threats from competitors or market trends. Another popular method is the risk probability impact matrix. It's pretty straightforward. We list all potential risks and then rate each one based on its probability of happening and how impactful it would be if it did occur. This way, we can prioritize which risks to tackle first based on their likelihood and severity. Then there's the failure modes and effects analysis, or FME for short. It's a bit more detailed. We identify all possible failure points in our product or process, rate them by severity of impact, how often they might happen, and how detectable they are. This helps us focus on those critical areas that could really bring things to a halt. Let's not forget about the Delphi technique. It's a way for experts from different backgrounds to anonymously provide their insights about potential risks through a series of questionnaires until they reach a consensus view. Super useful when you have diverse viewpoints and want an unbiased opinion. Finally, we can't ignore the Pareto principle, or what some call the 80-20 rule. This principle suggests that roughly 80% of your problems stem from about 20% of your risks. So by identifying those critical few risks, you're addressing most of your potential issues. Now, let's put all these tools into action. Imagine we're launching a new app with SWOT analysis. We'd look at our development team skills and any gaps in expertise as well as market trends for similar apps. The risk probability impact matrix would help us prioritize risks like server downtime or security breaches based on their likelihood and impact. Using FME, we'd break down each function of the app to see what could go wrong. Maybe a feature fails often but is easily fixed by an update, while another critical piece might not be as likely to fail but would take weeks to resolve. With Delphi technique input from designers, developers, and marketers, we'd get varied perspectives on potential risks. And finally, applying Pareto's principle helps us focus our risk mitigation efforts on those few areas that will address most of the issues, like ensuring a smooth user experience or robust security measures. So there you have it. By using these tools effectively, we can better understand and manage potential risks in any project, making sure everything runs smoothly from start to finish. Let's dive right in. Imagine you've made a big decision about something important. Maybe it's launching a new product line for your business or planning an event that could really make waves. Now what? The next step is all about putting those decisions into action. That's where developing action plans comes into play. All right, so we're talking about breaking down these big ideas into manageable steps and assigning responsibilities to ensure everything gets done smoothly. Let's think of it like building a puzzle. Each piece needs to fit perfectly for the whole picture to come together nicely. First off, you need to clearly define your objectives. What exactly are you aiming to achieve? Then break those goals down into smaller tasks. These are the pieces that will help you reach your overall objective. Once you've got your tasks laid out, it's time to assign them. Think about who in your team is best suited for each task based on their skills and expertise. It's important everyone understands what they need to do and by when. Next up, set timelines and deadlines. This helps keep everything moving forward at the right pace. Don't forget about resources, materials, tools, or funding needed for completing these tasks successfully. Make sure you have all that lined up so nothing gets held back due to a missing piece of the puzzle. Now, let's talk about monitoring progress. Regular check-ins are key here. It helps keep everyone on track and allows you to address any issues early on before they become big problems. Lastly, be prepared for flexibility. Sometimes things don't go exactly as planned, but with a well-developed action plan, you can adapt quickly and smoothly shift gears if needed. So there you have it. Developing an action plan is all about breaking down your decision into clear steps, assigning responsibilities effectively, setting timelines and deadlines, ensuring resources are in place, monitoring progress regularly, and being ready to adjust as necessary. It might seem like a lot of work up front, but trust me, it'll make executing your decisions much smoother and more successful. That's all for now. Remember, the key is planning meticulously while staying flexible enough to handle any surprises that pop up along the way. Today, we're diving into the world of monitoring progress and adjusting as needed. It's crucial because it helps us stay on track towards our goals while allowing flexibility to adapt when necessary. Let's start by understanding why this step is so important. Monitoring progress gives you visibility into how well your plan is working and where improvements might be needed. By tracking key metrics, such as sales numbers or customer satisfaction ratings, you can see trends developing over time. This visibility helps you make informed decisions about the direction of your project or business. Now, let's talk about how to actually monitor progress effectively. The first step is setting up a system for regular check-ins. These could be daily meetings, weekly reviews, or monthly reports depending on what works best for your situation. The key here is consistency and making sure everyone involved knows when these checks are happening. Next, choose the right tools and technologies to support this monitoring process. There's no shortage of software options available today, from project management platforms like Asana or Trello to spreadsheets that can track progress visually. Whatever you decide to use, make sure it integrates well with your existing workflows and is user-friendly for all team members. As we monitor the progress, it's also important to be ready to adjust as needed. Sometimes things don't go according to plan, and that's okay. What matters is being flexible enough to pivot when necessary without losing sight of the ultimate goal. When adjustments are made, communicate clearly with your team about what changes have been implemented and why. Finally, let's not forget about celebrating successes along the way. Acknowledging milestones reached can boost morale and keep everyone motivated towards achieving the end result. It's a great reminder that all the hard work is paying off. In conclusion, monitoring progress and adjusting as needed is an essential part of any successful project or business venture. By setting up regular check-ins, using appropriate tools, staying flexible when necessary, and celebrating achievements, you can ensure continued success and growth over time. Today, we're diving into the world of making team decisions that stick. We all know how challenging it can be to get everyone on board, especially when opinions are diverse. But guess what? There's a way to build consensus and make sure every voice is heard. Let's explore some techniques that'll help you create those high-ticket decisions your team can rally behind. First off, let's talk about the importance of clear communication. When making group decisions, it's crucial to ensure everyone understands the goal. Start by laying out what needs to be achieved and why it matters. This sets the stage for productive dialogue. Next up is active listening. Encourage all members to listen carefully to each other's ideas without interrupting. It shows respect and helps prevent misunderstandings. Then comes brainstorming. Don't just stick to obvious solutions. Let everyone's creativity flow freely. Write down every idea, no matter how wild they seem. Once you've got a list, it's time for narrowing it down. Use criteria like feasibility, impact, and alignment with team goals to filter through the options. Another key technique is using voting or consensus-building tools. This could be as simple as raising hands, but more effective methods might include dot voting, where each person gets several votes to distribute amongst options they favor. Alternatively, you can use a round-robin approach where everyone shares their top choice in turn until a clear winner emerges. Don't forget about the nitty-gritty details like timelines and accountability. Once a decision is made, assign roles and set deadlines so everyone knows what's expected of them. Regular check-ins will help keep things on track and address any issues early. Finally, celebrate your success. Recognize the hard work that went into reaching consensus and achieving your goal. This boosts morale and strengthens team bonds for future decisions. In summary, building consensus involves clear communication, active listening, creative brainstorming, strategic voting, and careful planning. By following these steps, you'll be well on your way to making impactful team decisions that everyone can support. Today, we're diving into something really interesting: voting methods for resolving differences among members. Now, when there's disagreement within a group, it can feel like trying to herd cats sometimes, right? But lucky for us, there are several ways we can use voting to make decisions that everyone can live with. Let's start off by looking at the simplest form of voting: majority rule. This is where more than half of the members vote in favor of something. It's straightforward and easy, but doesn't always reflect what a large portion of the group might want. For instance, if you're choosing between 3 different options and 2 people like option A while one prefers option B, option A wins by majority rule. Next up is consensus, where everyone agrees to support a decision even if they don't fully agree with it. It's more about unity than winning or losing. This method takes time, but ensures everyone feels heard and valued in the process. Then there's weighted voting, which assigns different weights to votes based on some criteria, such as expertise level or seniority within the group. So someone who might be seen as an authority figure could have twice the say compared to a junior member. It's like giving more value to high-ticket opinions. Another method is runoff voting. If no option receives a majority in the first round, then you eliminate one of the options and hold another vote among the remaining choices until there's a clear winner. This ensures that what wins has broad support even if not everyone agrees with it initially. Finally, let's talk about approval voting, where members can vote for as many options as they approve of rather than just selecting one option to back. It reduces strategic voting and allows people to express their preferences more freely. Each method has its strengths and weaknesses depending on the context and size of your group. The key is to choose a system that aligns well with your goals and helps you reach decisions efficiently without causing too much friction among members. So there you have it, some different ways you can use voting methods to resolve differences within your group or team. Thank you so much for joining me on this journey through key decision-making models for strong leaders. Over the weeks, we've covered several crucial topics that have aimed to equip you with the tools necessary to make informed and effective decisions in your leadership roles. We began by understanding different leadership styles and their impact on decision-making, highlighting how each style can influence outcomes differently. We then explored analytical thinking models such as SWOT analysis and PESTEL analysis, which help leaders assess both internal strengths and weaknesses, as well as external factors that could affect their decisions. Next, we delved into problem-solving techniques like root cause analysis and the Fishbone diagram to uncover underlying issues and possible solutions. Moving on, we looked at decision-making frameworks such as the rational model and the incremental model, which provide structured approaches to solving problems and making choices. We also covered creative thinking methods for leadership decisions, including lateral thinking and brainstorming sessions that encourage innovative ideas. Evaluating these options became easier with cost-benefit analysis and risk assessment tools. Finally, we discussed implementation strategies like developing action plans and monitoring progress, ensuring that your decisions are not just well thought out, but effectively carried through to completion. Additionally, we touched on decision-making in group settings by examining consensus-building techniques and voting methods for resolving differences among team members. The most important takeaways from this course are the various models and tools at your disposal to aid decision-making. Remember, each model serves a unique purpose and can be adapted based on your specific situation. Applying these frameworks will not only enhance your leadership capabilities, but also boost confidence in handling complex decisions. I encourage you to practice what you've learned by applying these models in real-life scenarios. Reflect on how they help you navigate challenges and lead effectively. As you continue to grow as a leader, these skills will undoubtedly prove invaluable. Wishing you all the best in your future endeavors, and hoping that this course has provided you with solid foundations for making impactful leadership decisions. If you have any further questions or would like to connect with me personally, feel free to reach out through our platform. And if you enjoyed the course, please consider leaving a review to help others discover its value. Thank you again for being part of this learning journey, and best of luck on your leadership path ahead.